Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our series. I'm Amy Schneider and I'm with Ken Coscia. We are both certified Silva Method instructors. I'm here in the Atlanta, Georgia, and Western North Carolina area, mainly serving Asheville. And Ken is in the New England area, Connecticut, and then also Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, Ken. Welcome back to our segment of your Silva Method questions answered, everything you need and want to know about the Silva Method.
Episode 3.
Yes.
Amy and
Episode
I,
3.
yes, and we are committed to this. Again, you've heard us before. We want to clarify as best possible so you can make a more intelligent decision. A is the Silva Method coursework for me, and what's the best approach to serve you so you get the absolute most out of it with that. So, Amy, what's today's question that we were going to handle? Common, frequently asked question.
So today's question is, what is the difference between visualization and imagination, and how does it relate to intuition? As you know, both of us teaching Silva Life and Intuition, we really dive deep all 4 days in all three of these areas, and we work a lot with visualization, imagination, and intuition. So that's the question.
I'm laughing, smiling because that question has come up since the very beginning of the Silva program, 1966, especially visualization. And we're going to work on being as brief as possible. The imagination is the act of conceiving of a possibility. Imagine the possibility that your best self can emerge and help you to solve more problems. Well, if that's not true right now, today, that's imagining something that you have yet to experience. Imagine the possibility of walking the beaches of Bali. If you've never been there before, then it's all a figment. Visualization is the memory of your imagination, and it's this back part of the brain, recognition and form, the visual centers responsible. So people sometimes say, but I can't see anything. Well, duh. If your eyelids are closed, of course you can't see anything because eyesight is seeing, and eyesight requires the eyes to be open. Visualization is not seeing, and that's part of that verbal trap that people get caught up in.
Mhm.
Second aspect is that everybody has a different communication style. This is communications 101, both objectively in what we call beta, your five physical senses, and the subjective mode of consciousness. And
Mhm.
some people who listen to them talk will say, I see what you mean, Amy. That makes sense. And others might say, Ken, I hear you loud and clear. So some people are more visual in nature and listen how they speak and how they frame things. And someone might say, I hear loud and clear. They're more auditory. And then
Mhm.
others say, oh, wow, you feel the vibes in this room, the energy? Oh, it feels nice, or whatever. And the visual will say, I don't see anything.
Yep.
Well, even subjectively, when you're working with your intuition or having a so-called ESP experience, some people get visual images, eyes
Mhm.
open or closed. That's called clairvoyance, clear vision. Some people have hearing, clairaudience, clear hearing, and they hear a voice
Yes.
as if they were hearing a voice. And some people get a feeling, clairsentience, or in their body or in their hand. There's a fourth, which I knew, but it kind of slipped my mind. And it's really special to me because it's right. I realize I'm predominantly claircognizant. So,
Mm.
Amy, I think you know this about me. Most of you don't. I'm a practitioner, daily practitioner. I live this, work with it, and my visualization has improved, but it's not nearly as vivid as people who come through my training with me.
Mhm.
But I have a deep sense of knowing and kinesthetic feeling.
Mhm.
When you recognize and trust who you are, it doesn't matter. And when you embrace who you are and what comes naturally to you, that's when you can do great work. And that's when the magic happens. Because as long as people say, am I really an alpha, which is another question, or I can't visualize, or how can, then it becomes a stumbling block and it puts you in stress mode. And when you're in stress mode, nothing happens. You can't think, let alone intuition.
Mhm.
You want to add to that? Otherwise, there's another piece I can add.
So yes. So I I personally I feel like I'm all of those. But some are more dominant and others in different situations. But I definitely, whenever I have gotten information from my intuition as important, actually those life-saving moments, I heard a voice. It was like someone was just having a conversation with me. So that's interesting. But really, when you start to develop those frames of reference, and I am definitely very kinesthetic in most everyday life. That's probably my predominant one. However, I like to say in class that you and I talking, we see each other, we see our body language, our physical body language. We're both speaking the language of English together, which we understand, and that is using our physical senses. And we have lots of experience in in our world, especially in our adult life, as we've gone through school, become adults and gain more experience. We have a lot of experience in the physical world. We see pictures of things, we see videos of things, we hear things, things are told to us, and that's predominantly how we develop those frames of reference. We have a lot less experience with developing how things look like, feel like, sound like mentally when our eyes are closed. And as if you have a child in your life, a kid in your life, they're probably very imaginative and they come up with all sorts of things. And they are definitely experiencing things in that subjective sense. And so when we're in class, when we're visualizing, we are recalling an experience that we have already had. And if you think about what you had for breakfast this morning, it probably just, it came to mind, right? So that is visualizing. And in class, what I love to say is that uh, with imagination, that helps our intuition awaken more when we have those flashes of insight, when we have that knowing to go a different way. We're actually learning a completely different language. And it is a language that's completely unique to us that we have to learn to understand. And we have to develop those frames of reference so that we have that understanding.
Excellent. And now I would add a quick tip to improve visualization is,
Yes.
is look at a bright color, blue, green, or red, and turn away and remember what you saw. Or go look at your car. If you like your car, the lines of the car, and turn away and remember what you saw. Doing things like that helps to improve visualization and working with it. The other way is to cultivate imagination. We
Yes.
believe imagination and visualization are the two faculties of genius. And by genius, we mean a person who's able to use more of their mind, use it in a special manner. And there were, or we call them high performers, highly successful people. So what's the value? There's a ton of research coming out, and one fairly new, recent university level study that some of you may be familiar with was involving people playing the piano. I don't remember all the details, but I think it was something like they played 2 hours a day for a week on the piano, just simple chords physically. And then another group of people were taught how to play simple chords, but they only did it mentally, as if they were at a computer. They mentally rehearsed it, visualized it. And then when they did brain scans before they did this and after, they found that the people, both groups, those who practice physically and those who practice in their head mentally, rehearsing it, had the same connection, synapses created that would be typically created when you learn a psychomotor skill like that. And there's a ton of research like that. The power, all sports athletes, well, top-notch athletes learn mental rehearsal techniques to practice physically and then to mentally rehearse as if their best self has emerged in the game or in your business or in your relationship. So it really makes a big difference and it helps, absolutely. However, what I really wanted to add and emphasize to be supportive is that what's most important is the feeling.
Mhm.
And all the research in I wish Jose was alive, but all the research in neuroscience shows that you can visualize and manifest, or you could do a million affirmations, declarations, and it has little or no value or impact on us unless there's a feeling, an emotion that you connected, from your heart. So, my friends, even if you're like me and you're not so highly developed visually, embrace it, but you can emote the feelings. And one way to enhance that, if you're practicing with mental rehearsal or creative visualization, is how will it benefit you and anyone you care about? And actually run like a movie in your head, a thought, or describe it to yourself, what it would be like. What will they be able to do? How will it improve the quality of their life, your life? It's the emotion that's the driving force. So you can do it. We believe in you. And all during the Silva class, by the way, the techniques we use are all designed to help cultivate imagination and visualization. And when you do that, it activates your intuition. And when you activate it, then it's another whole topic about intuition, how we
It
provide
is.
feedback. So I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I also want to add something there that's really that you talked about and explained where with the research where someone just mentally went through the chords and the other group physically went through the chords. Well, one of the reasons why both groups experienced development is because the brain does not distinguish between vivid imagination and physical reality. And that's really something important. It's something we cover the very first day of class. And uh, I'm sure my students might seem like I'm a broken record, cancel, because it's super important to understand. And it's super important to also know when you're living your life, because the things that we're thinking about, we're giving energy to. And whether it is physically real or whether it is imagined. And if you are playing a sport, if you are in business and you've got an important meeting and you've had important meetings before, you could be doing anything. When you mentally rehearse something, it lights up the same areas of the brain as if you were actually physically doing them. And so uh, when we are working on a goal and creating something new, getting to a new goal that we haven't gotten to before, that we haven't reached before, that hey, I don't know, I don't know how we're going to get there, but somehow, some way, we're going to figure it out. Uh, when we have experience with visualization and imagination, which, as you mentioned, and I mentioned at the beginning, that we do all 4 days, then we can start to have some hope, which is really important, that somehow, some way, we will figure things out and we will come up with a solution or have the steps to get to that end goal in mind.
What a
How are you
team.
doing?
Yeah. I was listening, but to go back, a couple of points I want to add is the brain doesn't distinguish between vivid imagination and real at the subjective level, the green and red on the chart,
Yes.
consciously, so-called subconscious. And the
Yes.
subconscious is what guides us and runs the show, so to speak, as we all know on
Mhm.
that. And the other thing I would say is, along with Amy, there was an excellent reminder for everybody. Give it a whirl before you go to a business meeting, before you go to give a presentation, before you go to pitch someone for whatever it is you're doing, before you give a performance, before you sit down to have that delicate conversation with somebody you need to have such, mentally rehearse it as if it's happened already in a positive outcome. And imagine what your life would be like, that situation, etc. If your best self emerged and you really connected, they got you, they heard you, they felt you, and do that. And I'd love to hear from you what a difference you notice. It's just notice the difference. It goes smoother. There's great value in doing that for that reason. And I'm tempted to do something because part of what Amy and I want to do is these are meant to be information episodes. We both offer training videos and we both offer a lot of content to help in your personal development. And this is informational and somewhat training. Here's a quick little exercise. What do you think, Amy? We got time to do this?
Let's do it.
You're not going to be able to do it, or you're watching the video. We're recording this, it's not live. But what you can do is you want to stand, better to do it stand and comfortable and turn your head, keep your shoulders straight and turn your head and your neck to your right as far as you can and pay attention to how it feels and how far. And you can turn your eyeballs to the far right too. Then
Okay.
turn back and let's use that thing. Imagine as if your neck is made of rubber, as if it's a rubber band. And if ever you've seen Roger Rabbit, SpongeBob, any of the cartoon characters, you can twist the head like a sponge. You can make a few circles. Or imagine what if your head were like a bottle top onto your body and you could screw it on, screw it off. So exaggerate it. That's the rule of the visualization. Now close your eyes. Second step is keep still and only repeat what we just did, but in your imagination. And what if your neck were made of rubber? Or what if your head was a bottle top and you could turn and see what's behind you? You could make a few turns and just play with that for a moment. Really get into it. Imagine it's silly, it's ridiculous. The sillier you are, the more impact. Then open your eyes and do it again physically and look to see, can you turn farther and how does it feel? So third time, keep your shoulders straight, turn your head, your neck, your eyes to the far right. And how does it feel? Are you able to turn a little bit farther? A lot farther? And even if you stayed the same, did it feel more comfortable, more relaxed? I do this in my classes. Amy, you may do it too. I don't
I
know.
do it too.
And everybody says, no matter, uh, almost everybody, at least a little bit farther, good majority, a lot farther, but everybody says, yeah, my neck, it was easier. My neck feels more relaxed. Hint, hint. It's called the mind-body unity. I heard a famous psychologist using this based on a book she wrote, instead of mind-body connection, mind-body unity. I love it. Your mind, your thoughts facilitate your feelings, and your feelings cause emotions, which cause the brain to release the neurochemicals, which affect how you feel, affect your physiology, affect heart rate, breathing, circulation, etc. So there's a lot to that. It's very science-based. So use that. We'd love to hear from you. Let Amy or I know. And I'm happy to have been here, and I hope you're happy to have watched this. And that if you have questions, please, could you send us questions that have really been pressing to you, and we'll do our best to get to as many of them as we can. So,
Yes, absolutely. Please send us questions. You can comment on this video with a question. You can also go to either of our websites. I am silvamethodatlanta.com and Ken is silvamethodct.com. So Connecticut. silvamethodct.com, and our information is there for you to reach out if you have any questions about anything. And we will see you next week for our next question. So stay tuned for that one. And we are super excited that you joined us today, and we look forward to hopefully meeting you either in person or back here.
All right.